What's up, everybody? This is Cole Boling with the Boling Group at Keller Realty, One Legacy Partners here in Topeka, and you are listening to Topeka Business Uncensored. Here we go. Hey, everybody, this is Cole Boling with the Boling Group at Keller One Legacy Partners in Topeka, and this is Topeka Business Uncensored. And this is a podcast where we are talking to local business owners in the Northeast Kansas, Greater Topeka area about their business. They're local. They have things to offer people that are just out of this, things that we don't really see every day or even think about. And so if you know somebody that you think that we would love to talk to, please let me know. Now, today is pretty cool. The thing I love about today's guest, he is what I would say is literal grassroots. You know, people talk about your grassroots businesses. They talk about from the ground up, but this one's a mixture of both. So today I want to welcome Tracy Lutz, and welcome, Tracy.
Thank you.
And Tracy is the owner of Summer Pick Farms. And Tracy, what's Summer Pick Farms?
Well, a lot of people ask me what Summer Pick Farms is. Actually, the name came from a variety of tomato. Our first variety of tomato we ever grown successfully years ago. So that's how we kind of got a name. We had to come up with something for tax purposes. And it was kind of one of those things you kind of go round and round trying to find the perfect name. And I happened to look down and happened to see one of our tomato plants sitting there. And I looked at my wife and I said, that's what we're going to name it. And she goes, tomato? I said, no, we're going to name it Summer Pick. Summer Pick Farms. You know, you usually think about, growing vegetables in the summer or eating vegetables in the summer, summertime melons, stuff like that. I said, that would be a great name. So that's kind of how it started. But we are just a small family run, basically a market garden. If for some people that aren't aware of what a market gardening is, it's between a very dedicated gardener to a commercial farm. So we're that niche in between there. We grow in a couple high tunnels. High tunnels are basically greenhouses, which some people may be familiar with. Everything we grow is under cover. So which means everything we grow is in a high tunnel. So I can control the weather. I can control the rain. I can control the humidity. I can control everything. And I'm not manipulating the plants at all. I am just giving them the perfect ideal growing situation to produce the most food for the limited amount of space.
Awesome. So you're located where?
Just outside of Meriden, Kansas. So just north of Topeka.
Okay.
Over by Lake Perry, between Lake Perry and Meriden.
Are you like how does a consumer purchase products from you?
We do various things. Like I said, this is our second full-time year. Last year was our first year with me doing this farm full-time as a job. We have Facebook pages. We have Instagram. I have a YouTube channel. I don't know if that's something you want me to mention, like the names of it or anything like that, but we do
go for it. Yeah.
Our Facebook page is just Summer Pick Farms, and you can go there and you can check out short little videos that we put on of what we're providing at that time. There's a message board there also. You could leave messages for me, and then my phone number's on there. You can contact me by calling or texting me directly. We have on-farm pickups as well as delivery services. We do a weekly bag delivery, which some people may kind of get what that is. Most people are used to what they call CSA, where you pay up front for a product like January or February. You pay for the whole year's worth of vegetables up front. And that gives the farmer income to get the seeds, get the ground going, get everything working. And then every week you get a bag from that. And I looked at that model, and I wasn't comfortable with taking someone's money up front. So what we did is I put all the capital up front first. And so the bad thing about that is, I have to go 6 months of the year without getting paid. You have to put all that front before you start getting some of that back. But we do a weekly bag service we service Topeka, Silver Lake, Hoyt, Holton, and Meriden. And we feed about 20 families a week. So we do
25, you said?
Yes, 25 families. We do everything from micro
Awesome.
all the way up. I think there's actually 12 or 14 different varieties of vegetables and stuff that we do produce.
Do you have a goal of how many families you're planning to try to start feeding weekly or anything like that?
25 was my goal for my second year. My first year was 10. Of course,
Okay.
I believe in starting small. A lot of people will
Sure.
look at going into debt right away, like huge amounts of debt, and then starting huge to make up for that debt. And everything, the thing that's weird about our business here is everything that we do is 100% debt free. So I own everything here.
Sweet.
And that's the way we had to look into this, was from, the high tunnels we use are very expensive. And so the watering systems we use, the irrigation we go from, the soil that we buy, I spend $2,000 a year just buying dirt, to grow this stuff to mix into our medias. And that's all the organic fertilizers that go with that. And then, another couple $1,000s worth of seeds every year that we put in the ground. So I wanted to make sure if this was going to work, that we had to do this 100% debt free. So going into that, my first year, I set my goals very low. I set my goals as selling some stuff on the side a little bit, but then feeding 10 families. And we exceeded that goal. We had 15 families, I think is what we ended up with in December of last year.
Okay. All right. This
year was 25. That's my goal. But my goal is 50 families is what my goal is. Would be where when I hit 50, that's where I would be happy. I would love to be able to feed 50 families within our 100-mile radius, our community here.
What do you mean by feeding a family?
What's
that look like?
We do everything. We have a standard weekly bag that's delivered. So my delivery fee is based into it. It's just a weekly bag for a standard price. And we do custom salad mix and custom lettuce blends. And then at that point, everything's a la carte. So my bag will have 2 items in it for this set price with delivery. And then we do a la carte. So you can actually choose it like you would, like if you went to a fast food restaurant. So if you wanted, we do 10 different types of microgreens. And if you're familiar with microgreens, are radish, broccoli, salad mix, kohlrabi. There's all kinds of different microgreens out there. Each one of those a la carte items is $4. So you get your choice of microgreens. You can pick 10 microgreens or you can pick 1. You can pick a bunch of radishes, a bunch of carrots, more lettuce, cucumbers, zucchini, squash, okra, green beans, tomatoes, cherry tomatoes, cucumbers, snacking cucumbers, cantaloupe, peppers, from sweet peppers all the way from bell peppers all the way up to Carolina Reapers. We grow everything in between. And there's a lot of herbs involved in that too. So it kind of makes it customizable to where you're not set. A lot of farms will set you at like a $25 bag. And then they choose the 4 or 5 items they put in that bag, and that's what you get. So if you don't like radishes, you're stuck with radishes. Or if you don't, if you're not a tomato eater, you're stuck with tomatoes or something like that.
Yeah, I'm not big on radishes, but I do tomatoes. That's
yeah. Tomatoes seems to be, we grow a couple hundred tomato plants here. So
awesome.
And our goal on that was 500 tomato plants. So we're halfway there. We grow a little bit over 200 tomato plants a year in high tunnels. So we're halfway to our goal.
So I heard you say that you started this business during COVID, right?
Yes.
Because you said 2 years ago.
I mean, literally, it was like 3 months before COVID actually became COVID, I guess you would call it.
Sure,
yeah.
Sure. What was it like for you starting a business during a time like that? Did you even notice? Because I guess you weren't really in business when it wasn't COVID, but talk to me a little bit about what you experienced with that.
It was to back up just a bit. I got hurt here on the farm, and it's actually Super Bowl weekends when the Chiefs were playing the Super Bowl. When they won the Super Bowl, I got hurt that day, and I got hurt here at the farm, and I ended up having to go to the doctor and get looked at, and I ended up having a really, really bad back problem. Like I had 4 herniated discs. I blew out my pelvis.
Wow.
I had a pretty bad accident. And it took me 3 or 4 months of walking with canes to get to where I could walk without a cane. And going through work, I worked at a manufacturing plant here in Topeka. Well, I can't walk on concrete anymore. 12, 14 hours a day on concrete's not going to work. So the doctor would not sign me off for work. So I had to release myself from And that was literally like 3 months before the whole term COVID was really, you knew people were sick overseas, but it really wasn't here
Sure.
yet. And so
Absolutely.
like a real deal. And so we were trying to figure out what I was going to do for work. And, this has been a side thing for me. I've always, I go down the rabbit hole of a lot of people where you get on YouTube late at night because you can't sleep. And one second you're watching car videos and the next second you're watching, baby chickens eating grass outside. I mean, I don't know how you end up down that hole, but a lot of people, you end up there's like two medians. And, we always had a huge garden here. And I grew up in a farm family. And so everybody had a victory garden. And so, we were growing food because I wasn't working. So I said, we need to grow some foods until I can figure out what we're going to do. I need to grow some food for us. And I started looking at YouTube for, certain ideas and stuff. And I saw this idea of being a market gardener, where you're a professional gardener. And I was like, well, how do you make money doing that? And, you started watching more videos. There's a lot of famous farmers out there. And I started following that model. And I told my wife, I said, I can do that. And she said, if it was anybody else, I would say no. But she said, I know your initiative. I know your drive. I know your passion and stuff. And she said, just go for it. We have nothing else to lose. And then COVID hit. And then I was thinking, oh my Lord, how is this going to work? If everybody's staying home, nobody's going to buy anything. What are we going to do? People came out of the woodworks to search me out for food. It was amazing.
Awesome.
Community grouped around us and helped our business thrive. Actually, our business thrived. We doubled our business in the first year of COVID, just like that.
Do you think that's because people didn't want to go to supermarkets, or do you think that was because they really organically wanted to support local?
I think there's both. I think, if you would have asked me this 30 years ago, if people would care if their lettuce was organically grown, I would have said no. People would store what they wanted. But nowadays, people are so much more in depth with their food and their choices that they put into their body. And I think they see that most of these people have already been to farmers markets. They've already purchased stuff from other farms or, other organic places, from organic grocery stores, stuff like that. So they're familiar with that. And when you get a region, popularity of market growing is popular in the East. You're talking like South Carolina, North Carolina, Tennessee.
Sure.
Farmers markets are abundant there. Well, when you think of rural Kansas, it's not your first situation where you think there's a guy out there growing 2,500 heads of lettuce in the middle of February. It's not comes into your mind. And
sure.
People knew I was doing this, friends and family, people I went to school with, because I still live in the same place that I grew up in, the same house, the same farm, same community I went to school in. I'm still here. And so a lot of people know who we are. And, once one person figured out what we were doing, it was just like somebody opened the door and the wind came in. That we had people messaging us, wanting to know if we were going to do markets, wanting to know where they can come get stuff. What do we have going? And it just kind of went something from a very, hey, can I come over and get half a dozen tomatoes from you guys? Just kind of talk to, we have people from other towns that I don't even know. Hey, I heard through my friend is blah, 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 which was friends of this person that you used to work with, said that you may be selling a weekly bag subscription. Is there any way I can get in on that?
That's awesome.
That's all about it. It's been nothing but a godsend. And,
so if I wanted to buy something if I didn't want to get into a service and I didn't want to do something like that, but I wanted to go out, see you, and on maybe like a Saturday or something, is there anywhere that I could come to you at?
People are more than welcome to come here on the farm. I'm very transparent. It's not a big farm. Like I think a lot of people have, growing up in Kansas, they think it's like 100 acres of wheat and corn and cattle and stuff.
Sure.
It's not that. I literally grow on 1/8 of an acre to 1/4 of an acre of what I live on. That's all it takes. I think we're looking at under 10 or 12,000 square feet of growing space, but it's very high intensity growing. So,
sure.
You're looking at thousands of heads of lettuce, 10, 15,000 carrots. That's the type of stuff that we grow. yeah, people are more than welcome to come to the farm, and that's where they can reach me at that Facebook page. It's got my number. You can text me, you can message me there. A lot of people just use Messenger and message me. I'm very transparent. I show people exactly where their food is grown, what goes into the ground. So there's nothing there. I'm not hiding anything from anybody. But we also do pop-up markets. Usually on Saturdays, I'll post something on our Facebook page that says, "Hey guys, we're going to be at this place from 10 to 2 on Saturday afternoon. Come check us out for your fresh vegetables or any of your vegetable needs." And then people usually see us there with our tents or, something like that. Or like I said, we do that weekly bag service. If you want to be a part of that, you can message me and I can put you on a list, and I send out a text message to everyone when it starts, what we have coming up in the next 2 days. I get the order, I pick it, and then where we deliver to and what towns. We have different days for every town that we deliver to.
I love it. I love it. What could you, so let's say there's somebody listening right now who is just thinking about a business in general. Maybe they're thinking about starting a car lot. Maybe they're starting a car wash or something completely opposite of what you do. As a business owner, what would be one or two pieces of advice you could give a brand new business on how to really get started?
Take it slow. I cannot stress that enough. I think a lot of people will go head over heels and want to make money quick. It's human nature to want to take $1 and make 100. That's just the way we are. And that's the world. Unfortunately, that's the world we live in right now. And I suggest that everyone try to take a step back, take a deep breath, and take it slow. Set many goals. I think a lot of people will set one big, huge goal of, let's say my goal is to be a millionaire, and they set that goal to make $2 million, and they come way short of that goal, and then they fail, and then they lose interest, or they go bankrupt, or there's a lot of stuff that happens into that. You don't always have to win the battle or the war. You need to win the battles that lead you up to the war. So if your goal is $250,000 a year is what your goal is, then I think your first year goal should be $30,000-$40,000. Your next goal should be 75, maybe 150, maybe 250. My goal is in a 5-year goal. That's my plan. When I started was from year 1 to year 5. This is where I wanted to be, and I am vastly past where I need to be at year 2 right now. And that is structure paid for. That is, utensils paid for. That is tools paid for. Like I said, I went into this 100% debt free. And I understand, you can't start a car lot debt free. There's not a lot of people that have the capital to, to dump $10 million into a car lot and start debt free. And, my situation's a little bit different. But in that turn, we're looking, we looked at dropping, $50,000 to get started. So the thing we had to look at was, how do we do this and get to where we need to be? These tunnels that we grow in are not cheap. They're not $1,500 tunnels, they're $15,000 tunnels. Sure. So how do you do something like that and try to get there debt free? You everything has to go back into the farm. Sometimes you don't pay yourself. The first year or so, they always say, you don't pay yourself the first year. You're eating ramen noodles your first year trying to get going. It's all about the hustle. It's how hard you want to work. Now, if you want to work very hard and go above and beyond, you're going to get rewarded for that. And if you want to go into, lackadaisical wise, you're going to get rewarded for that amount of work that you do also. There's nothing given to you in this world. It doesn't work that way. I think if we get to that part where a lot of people are they think they should be given something, that this is my right. No, it's not your right. We were all born the same way. We were all born naked. So what you do from that point on, whether you go down a path of crime, whether you go down a path of wealth, or whether you become a basketball star or a football star, everybody starts the same way. And from that day you take your first breath is the day you decide which path you're going to walk. And, it comes with good friends and family that you surround yourself with. I'm a big believer in that. If you surround yourself with people that you want to be with, they're going to make sure you succeed. And that's what people have to remember. It's a tough world out there. There's a lot of people that are trying to start a business. You may think you're the one that has that great idea of this signature thing you're doing. Trust me, there's probably 20 other people doing the same thing you're doing right now.
Yeah. Competition's not always bad, right? The
competition is awesome. That makes you work a lot and makes it worth your time. If
you
there's
said
no
something exactly. Yeah, exactly. Right. And you said something that lives in my head a lot with, because I'm a business coach. I help people grow businesses. And this is something, and kind of to sum up what you said is something I tell a lot of my entrepreneurs is we overestimate what we can do in 1 year and we underestimate what we can do in 5.
Yep.
And it really should be as simple as, and you hit the nail on the head. It's everybody wants to come out and blaze that trail, be known, and all that information and all that stuff. But here's a really great thing that I want everybody to hear that he said was, you really don't have to go fast. It's really about small incremental changes every day, adding one more thing today, adding another thing. And we call that in our world, we call it red light, green light. So it's just like a car. If something is red, which means it's expensive and we don't have the cash to pay for it, we can't go yet. We can't cross that street. But if we see something that we want and we have the cash and we can pay for it, it's green. It's green. It's go, baby. It's go, go, go. And then when you hit that road, you may have to stop. You may get to that intersection and need to stop again. And I really love what you said about really taking it day by day, not overdoing what you do in the first year, because the reality of it is you're kind of more of the exception. Most people are the rule. The rule that most people live by is go hard. It's new. You gotta work hard. They don't work smart, and you work smart and hard. And that's what I really hope people understand is that starting a business, you don't need to be 100 miles an hour, crazy, bouncing off the wall, doing all this, because that's typically when you burn out quickly and your business never gets off the ground.
Yep. I 100% agree with you.
So you have this business.
Slow down.
What's that?
It's very hard to take it slow sometimes. When you see
excited,
future, you get excited about it. You're like, oh man, this is coming down the pipe in 6 months. I'll just go ahead and take the leap now. I find myself, I have to slow down and make that. And I'll talk to my wife about it, and she'll say, well, it's up to you. If you want to do it, go ahead. And I'll tell her, well, I'm just going to wait. And she's like, well, why would you wait? And I'm like, well, because that's what I want. I want to slow down. I want to make sure we succeed in this. I don't want to fail. Failure is not an option with me. So if it takes me 2 years or it takes me an extra 6 months to reach a goal that I've set, then that's what it's going to take me. Obviously, that's where my goal is in 6 months. It's not today.
Yeah, because failure means forward in my world.
Right. Yes.
Right?
Yes.
It's recently I passed my broker's exam in the state of Kansas, and it was one of the hardest things I ever did. And I failed it. I failed the first time I took it. I failed the second time I took it. And I'm okay admitting that, because you know what? I learned so much by my failure than I ever did if I would have passed it the first time. And the
Correct.
same thing with my business. My business has went up and down. I've been all over the place. And just like anybody, if I would have failed and quit, I really did fail.
Right.
But we fall forward when we're business owners. We sometimes embrace the failure. I don't always hate failing. I hate the feelings of failure, of like, oh, I didn't win, or like, because we're competitive people. But it's all about seeing it as, man, every storm has a beautiful day the next day, right? And the thing with failure is that it really does show you if this is your calling, what you should do next. And I love what Babe Ruth says. He goes, you can never beat a person that quits.
Right.
And it doesn't take a lot to keep going. It just takes you showing up one more time and 2 more times. So thank you so much. I couldn't do my show without people like you. But furthermore, this is about you and your business I'm super pumped to learn more about your business as I'm gonna start following you more, and I hope we become friends. And I love what you're doing. I'm gonna stop by if I see you at your little pop-up stands. But either way, if anybody is looking for his food service and wants to be a little bit more organic, wants to know more, reach out to Tracy. He's got his Facebook pages. He's got his all his social media platforms. One last thing, is there anything else you would like to add about your business or any information that you would like to let our listeners know?
I would say support your local businesses. It's very important, you know, in a world nowadays where everyone's got a computer in their hand. Basically, I don't think there's anybody walking around that doesn't have a laptop in their hand now. You know, I mean, these smartphones that we have basically will take us anywhere around the world. And I think it's really convenient and really easy to get on some apps and buy stuff, you know, and have it shipped to your house in 2 days and, you know, never get out of your pajamas and, you know, order groceries or order anything like that. It's very important to support your local people. These people are working every day to bring you the best products and best support and customer service that there is to offer. And unless you show up to let them know that they're doing a good job by supporting that business, they're not going to know. They're just going to, you know, it's, you see a lot of small businesses will come and go a lot, especially around here. You know, we're not exactly right in the middle of, you know, a huge city. Topeka is a pretty big city, but as far as city goes, it's not a Chicago or a LA or a San Diego or anything. So, you know, we don't really have that. I hate to say this word, but we really don't have that bougie type of place around here. And your local artisan style businesses depend on us to patronize, to support them, show them support. Every time you buy a plate of food from them, or every time you buy a handmade product from somebody that you see in your community, that supports them and their family. That lets them know you're doing a good job. And I think it's very important to support local, because without that, we all fail.
Yeah, there's this viral video I saw this one time where this lady comes into this like little boutique shop, and as she's leaving, the two ladies behind the counter like watch her leave, and as soon as she's outside, they're like high-fiving, and they're so excited and they're very happy, and that's real, guys. I mean, what he is saying is real. There's real people. Don't get me wrong, there's real people behind every corporation and every company in every way, in every capacity, and however you look at businesses, you know, the big and the small, somebody is benefiting somewhere. You are supporting someone. Yet what Tracy's saying right now is so good. It's the local people. These are the people that you actually are in the grocery store next to, and they're the people who, if you were in trouble, would actually be able to show up. Right. And they're the ones who would support your kids' programs at school, just like we would love that you support businesses. Just like, you know, with yours, we have our real estate business, right? Like the reality is we're local. I'm born and raised in the Topeka, Kansas area. My wife is from she went to Royal Valley. You know, we are really local in every capacity of the word. And I love what you just said, Tracy, about just really supporting local, because I'm not always the best at it. I'm not going to lie. Sometimes we get busy. Sometimes that it doesn't. And everybody listening, Tracy's not saying everything you do has to be that way, but he's saying, like, if you have the chance to stop at his pop-up while you're getting gas at Petro, or if you're online and you see he's got a new product, give it a try. You know, it's not all of those things. Even a dollar is way better than nothing at all. Right. So
yes,
I love it. I love it. Support local. Support local. Well, Tracy, thank you so much for being on here. Everybody listening, I'm going to have all the links for Tracy's contact information in whatever platform you're looking at right now. If you're on Spotify, if you're on YouTube, if you're on Apple Podcasts, wherever you're listening to this right now, in the comments of this, there'll be all the links to Tracy's page, how to contact him. And I really hope you reach out to him, get started in a program with him, or if you can't, or if you're into something else, please find a pop-up that he is. Tell him how you found him. Mention our podcast, I would love to know that myself, that we were able to introduce him to you. And but Tracy, thank you so much for being here today. Really
Thank you.
appreciate you having you. And I look forward to seeing your growth, your success, and you've got a new raving fan in me. So
thank you very much. It means a lot that that you put us on the podcast here to kind of let me speak my piece a little bit. And I want to thank everybody listening. And hopefully I get to see you guys this summer. Come check me out. At least hi. At least come say hi.
I can't wait till we do this, our follow-up podcast a year from now and the next year, and just watching you grow. So I'm pumped about that. And thanks again. Look forward to talking to you soon, Tracy.
Thank you, Cole. I appreciate it, buddy. Thank you.
See ya. Bye.
Bye.
You've been listening to Topeka Business Uncensored, where we interview business owners in the Topeka, Kansas area about their business and a little bit about them as a person. I'm Cole Boling, and I am one of the co-owners with my wife, Jamie, of the Boling Group real estate team with Keller Williams One Legacy Partners in Topeka. If you are thinking about selling, buying, or investing in real estate, I'd love to connect with you through our website at thebolinggroup.com.